Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. A federal appeals court sided with the Trump administration and said a judge lacked authority to order activist Mahmoud Khalil's release from immigration detention. The ruling keeps him in custody as the legal fight continues. Congress approved a bill boosting funding for federal science agencies, rejecting steep cuts sought by the Trump administration. The measure increases support for NASA and the National Science Foundation, keeping major research programs on track. The ACLU sued the Trump administration over an ICE surge in Minnesota, alleging racial profiling and warrantless arrests during Operation Metro Surge. The lawsuit says U.S. citizens were wrongly detained, and it asks a federal judge to halt the tactics. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt sharply rebuked a reporter who questioned the administration's support for ICE after the Minneapolis shooting. The briefing clash came as the White House defended federal agents amid ongoing protests. Reps Jason Crow, Maggie Goodlander, and Chrissy Houlihan said they are under federal investigation after appearing in a video urging service members to refuse illegal orders. Prosecutors have not publicly explained the basis for the inquiry. The White House is weighing Iran's latest diplomacy signals, while President Trump orders military assets readied for potential action, according to the Wall Street Journal. Officials say no final decision has been made on whether to strike or negotiate. A federal judge blocked the Trump administration from obtaining California's voter roll data, including sensitive identifiers. The ruling said the Justice Department lacked legal authority, and it could influence similar fights with other states. President Trump unveiled a health care plan that would replace insurance subsidies with direct payments to consumers. The White House says it could lower drug prices and premiums, but critics say the proposal lacks details and a clear timeline. Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. A suspended Ford worker who heckled President Trump drew a wave of online support and donations through GoFundMe. The fundraising quickly surged into the hundreds of thousands as the union reviewed the suspension. The TSA said travelers who arrive without a real ID or other accepted ID can pay $45 to use a new conformity screening process starting February 1. The agency warned the extra verification may still not guarantee clearance. House Republican leaders are struggling to move legislation as members miss votes for health issues, emergencies, and campaigning. With the majority so thin, even a few absences can stall parts of Trump's agenda. Colorado Gov. Jared Polis delivered his final State of the State address, highlighting policies like free preschool, expanded renewables, and healthcare savings. He urged unity and laid out unfinished goals on housing, taxes, and affordability. HHS restored about $2 billion in mental health and addiction grants after backlash from Congress and state officials. The reversal keeps funding flowing to clinics and nonprofits that rely on the money for treatment programs. A new global research ranking showed Harvard slipped to number 3 as several Chinese universities surged higher. The shift adds pressure on U.S. schools as federal research funding faces new cuts. Japan and the U.S. agreed to expand cooperation on missile programs and step up joint military drills in the region. Officials frame the move as strengthening deterrence as security tensions grow in the Indo-Pacific. The U.S. Department of Education opened Title IX investigations into school districts in 10 states over complaints about transgender students competing in sports. Districts say they're following state laws, while federal officials cite protections for girls' teams. Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. President Trump ordered military assets positioned for a possible strike on Iran, according to the Wall Street Journal. Advisors warned large attacks may not topple Iran's leadership and could expose U.S. forces to retaliation. Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado met President Trump at the White House as Washington weighs its next steps on Venezuela. She presented her Nobel Peace Prize medal as a symbolic gesture, officials said. Colorado Governor Jared Polis delivered his final State of the State address at the Capitol, highlighting achievements like free preschool and renewable energy growth. He urged unity while pushing for more housing reforms and lower taxes. The ACLU sued the Trump administration over an ICE surge in Minnesota, alleging racial profiling and unlawful arrests that swept up U.S. citizens. The lawsuit names DHS and seeks a court order stopping the tactics. HHS reversed roughly $2 billion in canceled mental health and addiction grants after backlash from Congress and states. The move restores funding for programs run through the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. Japan and the U.S. agreed to expand cooperation on missiles and step up joint military drills in the region. Officials said the moves will boost deterrence as security concerns grow in the Indo-Pacific. Donations surged online for a Ford worker suspended after heckling President Trump during his visit to a Detroit area plant. The United Auto Workers said it is reviewing the discipline while Ford investigates the incident. A federal appeals court ruled a lower court judge lacked authority to order activist Mahmoud Khalil released from immigration detention. The 2-1 decision backs the Trump administration as the case continues in court. A federal judge dismissed the Justice Department's lawsuit seeking California's unredacted voter rolls with driver's license and partial Social Security data. The ruling said the demand violated privacy laws and could deter voter registration. The TSA said travelers without a real ID or other accepted ID can pay $45 for its Confirm ID screening process starting February 1. The agency warned extra verification may cause delays and still won't guarantee clearance.